from the ring.
Let's go. Oh, I better put that on. Do not disturb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me shut this off. What's going on? Sorry.
Talk about being unprepared.
What would you call this, a lack of preparation, Carla?
Yes, I would.
All right. I'll do not disturb. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Again, this time of the year, it's kind of rare that we do kind of these shows. As like Carla was telling me earlier, what were your choice words this morning, Carla, when you said what time of year it was in tennis? What did you say?
I said tennis sucks right now because no one's really playing.
I remember that. So Carla has something pertaining to her opinion of tennis sucks right now.
Yeah, I tried to watch matches and I can't get into them. Obviously, I didn't even watch one Labor Cup match. Not one.
I forgot it was on.
Not one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to waste my time, my life. You know, it's too precious to waste time to watch the Labor Cup.
And by the way, we wanted to welcome Diadem Sports, Diadem Tennis to the 5K tennis family. What does this mean? Well, for the Australian Open and every major, we give out tennis rackets, we give out strings, we give out 5K tennis merchandise, we give out $350 cash coming up for this Australian Open. And now to have Diadem on board for rackets, apparel, strings. They even have stuff like dampeners and so forth. So they'll be involved in some of those giveaways as well. Looking forward to getting some of their rackets. I think we're getting 7 of them, right? Mm-hmm. So we look forward to getting some of those and maybe doing a review or two.
Right.
Maybe we can do that. And shout out to Adam Friel out there who was nice enough to spend the time with me and get me squared away and Diadem on board with us. All right. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Carla has a topic to start the show. She just said it, but it's not my opinion. It's Carla's opinion. So Carla said to me this morning, I said, Carla, it's rainy. Do you want to do a show? She was like, well, I would. I mean, I want to, but tennis sucks right now. I said, okay, stop there. We're going to use that as your first topic. Do you agree or disagree with Carla, and why?
Well, I mean, tennis does suck right now. I mean, we have a few 250s. I think we have a San Diego tournament that Andy Murray's playing. I saw Nishikori retired. He was supposed to play Murray, but retired again because of back injury. I mean, Nishikori's always hurt. You might as well just put the guy that's hurt on a shirt. Nishikori, Uniqlo, I'm always hurt. I mean, seriously, he should sell a shirt. You know, like when somebody gets hurt, I'm hurt again.
Yeah.
I mean, because the guy's always hurt. I mean, he should just stop playing tennis for real.
The flying ninja that can't fly.
Yeah. It's an old story. The guy's always hurt. And then we see we've got the Indian. Well, we saw that Team Europe, I read, destroy Team World. Duh.
Oh, in the Labor Cup?
Yeah. Boring.
Who was even on the teams? How did the teams break down?
I think it was like Medvedev, Zverev, Rublev.
Okay, enough said. And then maybe on the other side, Shapovalov,
Kyrgios, Isner, Opelka, Schwartzman. Why can't I remember Team Europe? Medvedev, Rublev, Zverev. Who else is in that Team Europe? There should be like other people in that team.
I didn't watch the Labor Cup. I should know that, but we kind of vowed to one another that we wouldn't watch it. And I really did not. If I even saw an article, I skipped
Sissy Pass. Thank you, Lori. See how much I care about it's the Labor Cup is a BS tournament. It's the end of the season. I feel like tennis players should relax. They should, get hungry again, enjoy family life, enjoy the good things in life because you worked hard during the season. This is why you have the Indian Wells where everybody's pulling out. You got Barty that pulled out, Osaka pulled out, Serena's not playing, Nadal's still hurt, Federer's still hurt,
Kennan's out.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like really.
Osaka's out.
Why are we playing these tournaments? Really? Waste of time.
Well, Indian Wells is usually at the beginning of the year. They're doing that because
Berrettini. Yep.
Yeah, that's another good one. But Indian Wells is usually at the beginning of the year. It's before the clay court swing. It's the brief hard court swing. And they're just doing it at the end of the year, which I think it was doable in the first place at the beginning of the year, but because of where it was in California, they decided to wait. And then to put it at the end of the year is not typical because of exactly what you said. Most players are resting at this point, So I can assure you that the Indian Wells is going to be, it'll be fun to get.
How Love got married, so she's not playing. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Why do we have these tournaments? I mean, really, they should make it just a whole bunch of challengers for the people that are trying to get into the Australian Open for next year coming up. Allow them to play, do more of those, and not let the big people play, or those that are under like the lower 50 or something like that, or the 100. But these tournaments, there's no purpose of them. Well, there really isn't.
Look, you have sports like the NBA, the NFL, talking about football and basketball and a multitude of others. They have a 3 or 4 month season, and then they have a couple of months of sure rest, and then they go to training camp and so forth. Tennis is one of the only sports, I think soccer players, I think that a lot of them play year round, but I know that they have downtime for sure. But especially to put the Laver Cup and the Indian Wells at the end of the year, I think it's not the smartest move.
Indian Wells, don't we have ATP Cup? Don't we have? Aren't there a few other things? The women's finals, the WTA finals. That I think Barty's not even playing that one. It's going to be in Mexico.
Yeah, and not every player even played the Paris Masters or the Asian swing at the end of the year.
Well, there is no Asian swing.
Exactly, but a lot of the players didn't even play the Asian swing anyway. After the U.S. Open, it was, that's time to hang it up for a little while.
Yeah.
But in NBA, NFL, they have like G League and Spring League and stuff like that, which I think is kind of commensurate with what you're talking about.
Well, to me, tennis sucks. It's like when my kids played baseball during the summertime. And during spring, you had, baseball season, and you'd have travel ball.
Yeah.
And anybody who played in the fall, because I know this, because when my kids, remember when they started baseball?
It was a great time.
The fall was what? All the sucky kids played. Do you remember the fall
ball? Yeah.
Fall ball. It was all the sucky kids. You did not see good baseball. And to me, that's what tennis is in the fall. It's just sucky ass tennis.
That's a great metaphor.
It's the same thing. That's how I look at it. I remember going with them to fall ball. And I used to say, "What? Why am I wasting time sitting here on a bleacher?"
Well, the reason why that is in fall and baseball for like youth, like Dixie League baseball is what she's referring to, where we played travel ball, AAA travel ball, more higher level of that. But the reason why that is the like she said, sucky. I don't think there's any such thing as sucky kids. I love them all.
However, they were beginner kids.
However, what she's trying to allude to is that maybe the lesser of the competitive kids play. I think better said there, Carla. Sucky kids.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Come on, man. I can't sugarcoat things.
Okay.
In life, we are either good or we suck. That's just reality. We don't give trophies for sucking.
But can I tell you at least the reason why that is in the United States at that time of the year? Because football is being played. And youth football is even bigger than youth baseball here. Mm-hmm. So the parents are bringing them to football practice in the fall instead of baseball, even though there's a baseball season going on as well.
Lesser kids. Okay, lesser.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Suck. Like I used to tell my kids, they were good. They were better than the other ones, I'm like, why are we wasting time? I was like, this is ridiculous. This is boring to watch. I'm not here to spend my nights going for people that can't even catch or hit a ball.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too. The last tennis tournament that all 5 of our children play. But we were at the last tennis tournament we went to in Mississippi, and our 12-year-old daughter Lily was playing a match. And I sometimes I forget that she's 12, but
she was 11 at that time.
She was 11.
Yeah.
But sometimes I forget that that yes, I went through it, but maybe I'm a boy. I don't know. But anyway, instead of telling her what she could have done better,
he told her she sucked.
I was like, "You sucked, man. What was
that?" He made her cry. You
what
sucked. That was horrible.
Are you serious?
I was looking at just like, shut up. You don't talk to girls that way. Like you tell a girl she sucks, they don't get it out of their head. And I was so mad at you for telling her that because it doesn't encourage them. Girls are different from boys. You can tell a boy he sucks and he's going to fight to prove you wrong. Like Jonathan used to. You know how you used to tell him, you're never getting into the military academy. He used to say, I'm going to prove you wrong. And he did.
And he did, yeah.
But girls, you don't tell them that. You have to be different.
Would you call me wrong for the day that Jonathan served 20 double faults and after the match, I told him he sucked?
That's different.
20 double faults.
You can tell a boy that, and it was on his 14th birthday.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then a couple of days later, Jonathan was playing a match against this kid that always beat him, and Jonathan was getting beaten once again, and the kid asked.
He wasn't even good.
Yeah, he wasn't even that good. It was just like a mental thing. It was just the guy. It was like his nemesis, right? Mm-hmm. So the Jonathan was asked for or the kid Jonathan was playing was like, hey, I need a ball over there. And Jonathan didn't want to give it to him because he was being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so mad too. And so Jonathan, I'm finally waving at Jonathan, give him the damn ball, man. What the, so Jonathan picks up the ball and swag, just nails it at the kid. And this kid's like ducking and, I
kind of laughed because I thought it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was trying to keep a straight face, like, Jonathan, chill out.
Man, I'm like, chill, dude. And you know what the odd thing is when that happened, the ball flew right by this kid's head and he had to duck it like this from not too far away. And it was a heat-seeking missile. But you know what this planted the seed in my head is when the lady at the US Open did not dodge the ball from Djokovic. And that kid dodged that. Then the USTA needs to look seriously at getting some people that can do the line, calls that should be able to.
That's why they didn't hire.
That should be able to dodge like that. This kid had mad ninja skills. But yeah, it was. But do you agree with me that day where I told him you suck? After that,
but a boy is different. I don't think that you can tell that to girls. Women are different. Girls are different. Mentally, we are. And I hate to say this, when we're young, we're a little bit weaker. We have to learn how to be confident, and you gain confidence as you do better. Boys are a little bit different. They're, they got their testosterone going. I remember when you used to get on Jonathan, and I always used to say to you, he's going to prove it to you one day that you're wrong. And he did. And I was glad.
Well, I think that's why I did it to him.
Well, Christopher, I tell you, he's going to prove you wrong too.
Let's go.
But the girls, they remember that. I remember my dad yelling at me, throwing rackets, hitting me and stuff. And I always remember that. It was so hard. I had to deal with a lot of talking with my coach when I played amateur because my dad abusing me mentally affected me later on in life. It took me a long time to get confident. Yeah. And that's why I say to you, never tell a girl she sucks. Worst thing you can do.
Yeah, it was definitely different for me because from my standpoint, my dad was one of many coaches. But when my dad would watch, he would literally throw chairs, right? And get kicked out of tournaments and so forth. But it never bothered me. I think if anything, it motivated me.
Yeah, it never bothered my brother, but it bothered me. Yeah. I'm telling you that I was 18 years old and I would still cry and think about what my dad did at 12, 13,
what is
14.
that? I see Carla just write something.
Are you guys hotheads when you play? He is. You're definitely a hothead.
I'm a hothead?
Lori, you're out there. He throws his racket. He yells. You're not a hothead?
Well, I think sometimes when I know I should have won and I'm losing points that I should have won, I think sometimes I get upset, but I don't play like a hothead.
He's a hothead.
I'm not going, come on, and all that. I don't play that way. I don't go, come on.
No, but he throws his rackets and stuff. I mean, you throw your racket over the fence. You make
into the grass.
Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Let me get through it. I'm like, what the hell? We're like old people already.
Really?
Really?
You think so?
I think so. I'm like, what the hell? I'm just having fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I take it serious.
Ask Lily. She's sitting there. She's like,
I take it serious when I play. If I'm gonna play, then I play to win. And if I lose, I'm not happy about it.
Me too, but I'm not gonna fuss about it anymore.
I've seen a couple rackets that you've tossed.
When? Very few.
I've seen a couple.
Tossed to the net.
Yeah.
Like two,
into the net, into the fence. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yinghouse says, I can definitely see why females would be bothered by that, actually. Yes. They are bothered. You have to talk to. That's why when you have a female student and a male student, you coach them completely different. You have to be careful with the females. They're very sensitive, and that's just the way we are built.
I think it's tough sometimes from the coach's standpoint and the parent standpoint when ultimately, especially from the parent standpoint, especially if you've played the game your whole life, especially if you've been through it, especially if you can empathize because your sister went through it. Speaking of mine, sometimes I get very intense in the matches that I'm coaching. And look, I've been into it with the high school coach face to face. Have I not?
Yeah.
There was a coach talking to.
Oh my God, here we go again.
Anyway,
that was awful.
I ended up face to face with another coach. We were just face to face. The whole club was watching. It was a really sticky scenario, but I was damn right. Wasn't I right?
Yes.
I was right.
Jesus says, a bit off topic. My dad is an ex-pro soccer player, and I had a mental extra charge playing in front of him. So, meaning it helped you? Or it didn't help you? I didn't understand. Mental extra charge.
In other words, charged him up. In other words, it invigorated him.
Good. My dad always intimidated me. Anytime he watched, because I knew that he knew the sport very well.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fake it with him.
Yeah.
It was tough to have my dad watching me. I could not. It did something to me. Not only was I playing against the opponent, but I was playing against my dad. And I didn't enjoy my dad. Not even when you met me, watching me play.
Yeah.
It was not fun for me.
Well, when the first tennis match, Carla was still playing matches, and I went to one of Carla's matches, and I met her dad there, and he was yelling at her then, and she was like in her 20s. You know, she was older, and she was still catching hell. So yeah, I mean, but I get it. It's because you can't bullshit a bullshitter, or you can't. If you're a tennis player, you can't bullshit another tennis player, and better yet, a tennis player and a coach. So that's why I have a tough time turning that switch off with my own kids or girl students, because I'm used to just being, that sucked. I've seen better. I've coached better in less time. I just tell them the way it is. Okay. Because tennis is tough, man. It's tough. And I don't believe in false promise. If you come out and you play well today, okay, you got a B+. I very rarely give out A's, right? Because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Right. I've been around it my whole life.
But you have to be careful when you have kids, your own kids.
I'm still tough. I'm sorry.
Yeah, usually I tell him don't say anything. I mean, Lily still remembers it to this day, and she always mentions it to me. He says I'm good, but he told me I suck. She always brings it up.
But I meant that one day, just the one day. And she asked me,
did I play? I said I didn't think you played bad, but you should have beat her.
Well, she pushed the ball all over the court.
You should have beat her. I said if that was me, I said I would have kicked her ass with the tennis ball. I said, but
okay. By the way, Jose P mentioned it in his comment. I think it was Jose P. Or maybe it was Jesus, but someone mentioned that about soccer.
His dad was an ex-soccer
Carla,
player.
weren't you talking to me this morning about a Spanish soccer player that like, can you tell us the story? Because she started telling me about it, and I was like, okay, I don't know about it, and I'm usually not a morning person.
Yeah, Fernando Gago. Gago, who's an retired soccer player.
What's his name?
Fernando Gago.
Fernando Gago.
Married to Giselle Duco. Oh, they're going through a divorce. I don't know if you guys heard this. They've been married for like over 10 years. They have 3 kids. He cheated on her with her best friend, Veronica, who is a dance teacher who was also married. This is big in the Spanish world, you know. I was listening to the Argentinian news, the gossip news channel, and apparently she walked in on her husband being in bed with her best friend. Yes.
In their own house?
In their own house.
Ooh.
And she even moved. She's divorcing him. They both got 2 top lawyers. 2 top lawyers. So this is going to be an ugly divorce.
Well, both lawyers will end up richer than the parties involved.
Probably.
Yeah.
But she even moved her kids, moved from there, moved her kids to another school because apparently her best friend, I think it's terrible that this man did that. Now on top of that, now it's just not enough. It's just not an affair.
What about the best friend, though?
He's with the best friend.
But isn't it equally as terrible that her best friend?
She has a husband, and the husband found out through the news.
So
so they both were married, and now they are both together.
Yes. And
so now they're both couples are getting divorced. How awful is that? How can you have a friendly relationship even if you get divorced, it doesn't work out, whatever, because you cheated.
Then you lose your friend too.
And then you lose your friend. But on top of that, to see your ex-guy with your best friend is horrible. And this happens all the time.
Yeah, this is not anything new.
But and I was looking at the girl's picture, and I'm like, come on, man. How are you gonna do this?
So this is what the Spanish channels. This is what it's all about. So this is
the lady.
This is headlines.
She's a dancer, apparently. And then
let me see this.
This is her.
That's the cheatee.
Yeah, the cheatee.
That's the cheatee.
And then Giselle Duco, I think you guys, I've seen her before, and I'll show a picture of her. She's actually a very pretty lady.
So where's the cheater?
And she's a retired tennis player, Argentinian tennis player. So this is her. I'll show you a picture of her on the cover. When she was younger. She has 3 kids. She still looks like that. And this is the freaking idiot.
This is the cheater, right?
Yeah, this is the dumbass. Right here, because this shit reminds me of my ex, this fucker right here.
Oh,
right there, because that's happened to me. See, that's happened to me.
Oh,
so and I say make him pay the freaking price. Make him pay the price. Don't let him see the kids. Make him pay the price. And you're with that best friend, bitch slap her.
That now I see why she brought it up. Okay, I'm asking myself, why are we talking about a Spanish soccer player that cheated on his wife? This happens all the time.
Roy Nadal said, did you hear about the soccer player from Brazil nicknamed the Hulk? He cheated with his niece through marriage, and now she's pregnant.
Oh, so it was like the niece-in-law.
Oh, my God. What is wrong? You guys can't keep your shit in your pants? There's a million women out there. If you don't want to be with your wife, or vice versa, if you're a wife and don't want to be with your husband,
just get it over with.
Get it over with that I want a divorce, and then you can go screw whoever you want. Because at the end of the day, sex doesn't matter when you're old.
Yeah.
You're telling me at 80 you're going to screw?
Shoot, man, you better watch out. Shoot, I don't know who you're talking about, Willis. Shoot.
I'm just saying, man, that's just flesh. That's just pleasure. You think these two guys are going to stay together?
No, I don't think so.
They're not. It never ends up well. Whatever started bad always ends up bad.
No one wins.
No.
But if
then you fucked up the kids. Just saying.
Yeah,
you messed up the kids' life because now they don't see their parents together because they're gonna know the story. They're gonna read it one day.
Yeah.
My dad cheated on my mom with her best friend,
and then they'll keep that negative thing in their mind. You know, they don't talk about it openly, but it's like a subconscious. It's like a cognitive process that you can't pull out.
Children. You just messed up children, and the lawyer should win that case easily. Infidelity.
Yeah, just read the paper. Here you go.
Infidelity. I mean, it's a lose-lose for him. She should take I'm not the type that would take money away from a guy because I don't care about money. But if I were him, I'd slam him. Make sure he pays the price.
Okay, I'm going to shift gears for a second about paying the price.
Sorry.
And I actually had a little segment here written about someone potentially paying an unfortunate price for something quite trivial in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong. And this involves Novak Djokovic, believe it or not. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Novak Djokovic has been in the media here in the U.S. in the tennis world, and I say here in the U.S. because I don't live anywhere else. So you'll have to tell me if you have seen this. Mm-hmm. But it has been, I want to say New York Times, USA Today, and maybe I'm wrong on those, but periodicals such as those, right? Credible sources. Well, media is all bullshit anyway. Mm-hmm. But Novak Djokovic has been catching some grief and potentially going to pay the price by losing sponsors for going to a wedding of a friend or a Bosnian or and fill me on the details of a Bosnian or a Croatian or Serbian athlete or business person. Anyway, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, it's wuggis. Who gives a shit? But Djokovic was eating dinner or hanging out with someone that was tied to potentially military genocide during a war that we shouldn't have been in the first place. It's not that had nothing to do with the U.S. aspect of it. I'm just telling you my feelings on that. But who am I? I don't know. But I think the gentleman's name, and I may have this wrong because there was 5 or 6 people, but I think his name was Milan Djolovic, and maybe I have that incorrectly. But nonetheless, there's a picture circulating that sponsors are upset about, and some big name sponsors are upset about. Him eating dinner publicly with this person, taking a picture and smiling, and they were thinking about removing themselves from sponsorship. Does anyone know about this?
There's a lot of Serbian viewers out there. I don't know that they should not take his sponsors away. How many people go and have dinner with? They had dinner with Fidel Castro.
Many.
We've seen a lot of athletes. Fidel Castro, one of the nastiest dictators,
But now here's a question. Isn't it usually the outcast athlete like Dennis Rodman or an outlandish athlete like that makes those type of visits? Yes, it's commonplace that it happens. Mm-hmm. If that's your metaphor that you're using.
There's been many athletes that have had dinner with communist dictators, and nobody, they can choose whoever. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not from Serbia, so I don't know how I would feel about that. To me, it doesn't bug me, but they might have a different feeling about it. I don't know. Yinghao says Novak's not going to be too bothered by those sponsors exiting.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. It somehow makes, I think the app that I use to read the news in the morning, I love to read, by the way. I think you probably know that by now, and I love to write. All these shows we write. But the news that I look into, it's like an app that puts everything into one category. Anyway, long story short, I'll hit tennis and there's like the top 5 articles on the front page, and then I'll flip it up to world news and there'll be like the top 5 articles that pertain to world news. Anyway, long story short, like the past 2 days, it's like Djokovic and this guy, people pulling out Indian Wells and Raducanu on her way to superstardom already. Those are like the headlines. This is one of them. So for me, it's wuggis. I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me a bit. I don't think it will bother him a bit, but why do we continue to pick at this guy? Why is the paparazzi in Serbia popping up at this dude's buddy's wedding and taking a picture with him with some dude at a table?
Because he's Novak Djokovic. They would take pictures of you.
I guess.
If you're popular, especially in Serbia, if you are looked at as like one of like the president there,
Yeah, and I guess these sleazeballs that take the pictures get paid sometimes millions of dollars for that picture. Right. And insofar as jumping off of buildings with parachutes, like in that Adam Sandler movie. What movie was that? At the beginning, Mr. Deeds. He bails off the building. One of the best movies of all time, by the way, Mr. Deeds. I love that guy. I think of myself as Deeds. Okay. Someone sent us some information yesterday on the Kim Clijsters-Sue Shea match. Okay. Kim Clijsters played the other day, right?
Yes.
I don't necessarily want to talk about the match. I want to talk about the pictures.
Well, she lost in 3 sets to Sue Shea.
Okay. She should have, because Sue Shea is like a twig and she can run for 3 weeks without taking a break or doing anything, not taking any water or anything. But Kim Clijsters is sugar mama. You know, she's loafy right there, man.
And she's like 4 times the size of Sue.
You got some clarity on that, Carla? You got some clarity? I don't know. We might need to get some close-ups here, Carla. Because she's got some junk in that trunk for sure. Can they see that?
Go up. Right there. She's big and she's wearing black. So, black conceals. You got to press the thing. Black conceals your fat. It does. She looks pregnant. Yeah, the black, anytime women wear black, it's because they want to conceal, and I hate to say it, conceal their fat. Look. That's a fact. I mean, black makes you look slimmer. If you wear white, it makes you look bigger. And that's just, dark colors make you look slimmer, and lighter colors make you look bigger.
Totally agree.
That's a fact. And so she was wearing this black, weird outfit. Like, I don't think I would wear that to play tennis. I mean,
if you can Google that picture up, just put Kim Clijsters-Sue Shea, Google it, look at the picture, and look, I'm not knocking on a female. I don't do that. I'm a very female. I stand up when they enter the room. I don't knock on anybody, but as a coach, I'm very real. We just talked about, I kind of threw my daughter some shade the last time she played, and I tell all my 5 children and our 30, 40, 50 students, when they suck, they suck, and when they're good, they're good, but they're not going to get any ass massaging. Just get it what it is. But from a coaching perspective, I'm worried about Kim Clijsters getting a significant injury.
Well, running the weight on your legs, on your knees, that's tough.
Yeah. She's big.
I'm going to read his comment.
Like, she was big.
I don't think B-Dog minds me reading his comments, but I'm going to read his comment, and because I think he always says it how it is. He's a military guy, and, he always says it how it is. So I'm going to say, he says, let's see what he says.
But yeah, definitely not in tennis shape. And that's going to take a while.
He says
to come from that into where she's ready.
He says, she's still trying. Lord, just get on a real diet. She's fooling herself. Lose weight, push the plate. And then let's see what he says.
Lose weight, push the plate. I can see him saying that too.
Yeah. Top players that gain 10 pounds are terrible. But imagine eating a 5-year-old. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't believe how big she's gotten. And I even put pictures. I'm like, this is her. I'm like, she's eating everything.
So, but I guess
that's how she looks. Really, I don't mean to make fun of her, but it's like me saying, hey, I'm going to go play pro tennis. I need to shed at least 15 pounds to be competitive with those girls.
Good weight.
15 pounds. I'm just saying, you're a professional athlete. You need to be in tip-top shape. Solid to win. Look what happened in Osaka. We saw she had that outfit that she was wearing. She went to go change it because even she probably felt weird. And, she probably felt like eyes were on her. She was uncomfortable. She went to go cover up her belly. Even Serena, when she came on tour, she wasn't as big as Clijsters. But yet people gave her so much grief that she was out of shape. She shouldn't be wearing that. She should, how is she going to compete? It's tough when you have weight on yourself to run. I'm talking about in professional sport. If you're a happy person in life, eat what you want. Don't diet. Who cares, But if you're a professional athlete and you're trying to compete against those young girls, no way.
Yeah, and ultimately the joints will pay the price. Ultimately, there'll be a fall. Ultimately, there'll be a blowout of the knee. Ultimately, there'll be a torn rotator cuff. Ultimately, there may be multiple of those. Believe me, and well versed in that. I don't know what is making her try to come back at this point. Maybe she has to pay the bills. I don't know. Not our business. We wish anyone luck, obviously. But when you see the photos of her playing Sue Shea, you ask yourself, I hope she's okay. Okay. Where was I got to go from here? It was an important one. Okay. Yes. So I mentioned a little while ago that I get my morning news on an app where it combines the top 5 stories of a specific genre on one page, and then you can expand that to more or whatever. So along with the Novak Djokovic media type thing with the guy that we just spoke about, One of the others is the continuous barrage of Emma Raducanu going to dinner after dinner to movie premiere pageants. Are we frozen?
Oh, we're fine so far. We're fine. I'm looking at it.
All right, let us know.
I'm looking at it here.
Okay, it might glitch. If so, sorry. But Emma Raducanu has now been kind of shouted out by Roger Federer, and I respect the reason why Roger Federer has done this. Roger Federer, for the most part, warned Emma Raducanu the same way Carla and I did, and a lot of you all on our show the day after, or it was the same day after Raducanu won. We did a show. Go back to that show. We talked about it right then and there, right when she had won, prior to any Met Galas or anything. We've seen this before, Carla, how many times over the years? You guys, I mean, it happens so often. Someone makes it to a major final. Eugenie Bouchard, Kornikovas, and anyway, they don't even have to make it to a major final. If they just have the look, they will be exploited. And what do we read every single day? This morning, the new one was Raducanu. It now went to like the newest James Bond movie release, one of those things or something. And she was all in the evening gown and everything. Let me ask you a question. Is she practicing right now? Yes, shouldn't be playing tournaments and so forth. We should be resting this time of the year. She has to stay fresh. Someone as young as her I would say, should try to get her ranking up and play Indian Wells. She had to get a wild card because of it, because of her ranking. And ultimately, if she does well there, she probably won't have to worry about her ranking anymore. So she needs to strategically play Indian Wells, even though it's at the end of the year where other players don't have to worry about it. If she wants to not have to worry about getting a wild card or go through quali, she needs to get a ranking up. Just absolutely, she should play. However, she should be staying fresh and keep her mind fresh and not let, as Roger Federer said, and I quote something along these lines. I lost the article, couldn't find it, and I was writing down the quote. But basically, he alluded to don't let instant superstardom and social media ruin your career and your legacy and what you can achieve. It's not reality. If you're hot, they wear you down. In other words, like if you're hot, like if you're marketable, like, you're hot, what's up, hot and popping, if you're hot, then they'll exploit you and they'll tear you down. They'll tear you down. You won't even know it because they give you so much money. And then when you're not, you're garbage. Nike doesn't want you anymore. You have to go to Uniqlo. By the way, did you get that shirt? Carla and I have talked about on this show.
Beautiful shirt, by the way.
Carla,
and well made.
Yeah, Carla and I have talked about it 3 years on this show. Okay. Carla and I have given
beautiful thick shirt.
Yeah, given grief to tennis apparel makers, Hydrogen. I named that one because they're ridiculously expensive. Any of them, name them. Nike.
So beautiful that I ordered the black one. I ordered the black one for him and me, and I bought one for my dad.
Now, why am I showing you this? Okay, why am I showing you this? Very thick, good material, Uniqlo. From Uniqlo, we ended up getting 4 more.
$20, yeah.
Nice Uniqlo on the side. Why am I bringing this up? Because if this was with Nike, when Federer was with Nike, it would be $80. If this was Hydrogen right now with a little skull right here, $80. But this,
it's $19.99.
$19.90.
We got one white each, and then I just got the black pair each. I told him, get us the black one.
Yeah.
Because it's cool now. And then I bought one for my dad, $20.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's nothing. I'm like, you can't even go to Tennis Express or Tennis Warehouse and buy their shirts for that price. I mean, it's crazy. So great for Roger Federer.
Yes,
Even his polo shirts are $20 if you can get them.
They sell out really quickly.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Uniqlo and Federer. Right now it's very difficult to find anything tennis related in terms of apparel for an affordable price, and that was very much affordable. So much props to that. But back to what Roger.
Let me read a few comments.
Okay, go ahead.
William Spencer says Raducanu falling into the trap we could all see coming, sudden fame and all I've seen this past month is her on photo shoots, interviews, etc. El Noor says, Emma's the new it girl. Tennis is looking for a new young face to promote the game. But social media can make you, but it would turn nasty on you.
Yeah.
Layla C says, was the premiere in LA? Because if she isn't in California yet, she should be. They all should be there if they're playing IW.
I think this one was in London.
The Santa Ana winds will need adjustment, and it's way dry in October than March.
Yeah.
Your sister the Queen said, co-sign on a Uniqlo, bought shirts for me and my mom. Yeah, they're great shirts. Like I was even looking through their line, even not Roger Federer stuff, but just and very affordable brand, you know, because tennis, these dresses are ridiculous. You want to go buy a nice tennis dress,
$140. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not spending that much money.
Yeah, Michael Walker said it perfectly. He said, I like Uniqlo, well-produced basics.
Where do you see that?
I think it already went across. I think it already went up.
Michael Walker's not even on here.
Yeah, I just saw him write it.
You mean Sister the Queen?
Oh, I don't know. I saw it. Anyway.
Sister the Queen said that.
Okay, well, Sister the Queen.
Oh, Jesus said, I like Uniqlo. Well,
yeah, Jesus. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, but you can't throw any shade at Roger for saying that because it's truth.
Yeah, I'm looking at her James Bond thing, and I said, this is ridiculous. You know, my father says, you know, there's a reason why we don't see champions like Serena, Federer, Agassi, Sampras, Nadal, Djokovic, because those guys, they won one and they stayed hungry. They didn't go do photo shoots. They didn't go, you know, if they did a few, but they stayed hungry and they kept practicing because they wanted to be the best. And that's why I don't think she'll win another one. I know that Michael Walker made the bet with you.
Oh, let's call that out.
He made the bet with you, but I'm sorry.
Let's call that out.
To be hungry, you better be on the court practicing and practicing and practicing. Because once you allow the media, we watched this with Jennifer Capriati. We watched Monica Seles. I remember when she had her hair in a ponytail. She had her hair in a ponytail with the curly hair.
Anna Ivanovic.
I did the perm just to copy her, and then she cut her hair short, and all of a sudden she was on magazines, and then her tennis kind of went down, and then it went back up, you know? You have to be careful. I mean, it's great to model and do all of that, but Steffi Graf is a great example. We didn't see her on Sports Illustrated until like many years down the road when she was a champion, a true champion. You know, she had won many slams. You didn't see her going and doing this and that and that. Just, there's so many pretty girls. There's so many cute girls. Yeah, take advantage of the sponsors. I mean, but, you know, I like what B-Dog said. I'm going to bring up his comment again. Because he says it how it is. And I like people that say it how it is.
Yeah, and by the way, she mentioned Steffi Graf. Much respect to Andre Agassi, her husband, and obviously tennis great. His father died.
Yeah, he was 90 years old.
90 years old. And I think his father, was a professional baseball. No,
he was an Olympic boxer.
An Olympic boxer, yeah. And I think he wanted Agassi. I read Agassi's book, and I forget in the book if I think Agassi's father wanted Agassi to be a wrestler or a baseball player or something, and he ended up being a tennis player. Anyway, rest in peace. Thank you for your dedication to this planet and humanity. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So B-Dog says she's not that talented. I have zero.
Who?
Raducanu.
Oh, I agree. I told you that.
He said, I have zero expectations. Ostapenko, Puig, Vinci level, without a weapon right now, but she's only 18 years old. As her body matures, her serve can become a weapon and ball redirection. Young girls are now full of pizza, popcorn, and lollipops.
Totally agree.
Not grit, fuss, and fight.
Agree totally. Hard to ever disagree with B-Dog. We're on the same brainwave. I do know that your Patriots are having a little rough go. I think you're 1-2. San Francisco just got hosed by Aaron Rodgers' weak self, and we're 2-1. But
hey, my Giants suck.
Yeah, you're 0-3 for like the 37th time in the past 8 years. Okay, so anyway, Raducanu is seeing, but I don't think cognizant of the media and where, in other words, when you have that much princess stuff around you, the dresses and the gowns and everything, and you're paid enough to do that, a little girl without the right guidance is going to want to continue to do that and not go work out because she has to look for it, and that's why she's being exploited so much. She will have to decide, and not her parents, and I mean she at a very young age of 18, she's a baby, will have to decide whether or not she wants her future to be modeling or the dress, or is it going to be tennis? Because you can't have both. You will ruin any legacy she's trying to build. She can be a great supermodel and do it. She has to look for that. And the build and the attitude and the approachability. But you can't do all that and take tennis too. It's nothing new underneath the sun. This has happened and happened and happened and happened and happened. It will be another one and done if she doesn't get the right guidance.
Right.
Okay. Now, two more things we've seen. I wouldn't say front page tennis news, but I think it's worth talking about. Number one, we spoke about Roger Federer and the shirt that we were really fortunate to get for 1990. $19.90. Mirka, his wife. And, Mirka, his wife, has been around since day one. They met as mixed doubles partners, if I remember correctly. And it just stuck from there. She has, 4 beautiful children with Roger. They have 2 sets of twins. And she has been a staunch person in his tennis career since day one. And I do not recall them having any type of feud or spat over the years that the paparazzi has picked up on. So they've been a really respectable whole, a unit, right? Mm-hmm. We saw a picture of Mirka the other day, and it looks like we have Botox. So why do I even bring this up? Look, we bring up Naomi Osaka when her belly looks too big. We bring up Simona Halep's wedding. But we got to look at Mirka. Here, I'll step it up because your arms are short. Tell me when you can see it.
Yeah, they can see it. Don't put it too close.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I had it that distance. Yeah.
Pretty clear?
Yeah, pretty clear. It didn't even look like her. I didn't recognize her. I didn't recognize her at all. I was like, who is that? Oh, that's Mirka. I was like, okay. Federer looks better than her.
She looks, when
look at Federer. You see Federer? He looks more elegant than her. Come on, Federer.
Do you know
Come on, man, you got billions.
Listen, before you pull that picture of her up again, do you know when she showed it to me, and I don't study this stuff too much. She showed it to me. Do you know who I thought this was just at the first glance? Bianca Andreescu. Look and see why.
The cheeks?
I thought it was Bianca.
No, it's not a filter. That's how that's how her cheeks are. That was at I can't. It's all over social media. It's definitely her. And I wasn't trying to make fun of her, but I was comparing her, and I even said pictures.
It looks like Andreescu.
I chat with a few of you, so I sent it to Wildlife, and I said, it reminds me of this right here. With the fake cheeks.
Yeah, and one day we'll figure out a way to get these clips in here. I'm just too dumb to figure it out.
Yeah.
So we just do.
Oh, it looks like cheek fillers. Yes. Cheek fillers. Yeah. She did something to her face. It changed her face.
Yeah, she looks like Bianca Andreescu.
It just changed her face. I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
I had to double take. Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Okay. Mirka's Botox or cheek fillers or whatever. Who cares? Woogus, who gives a shit? But nonetheless, it just struck me worth talking about for a second, because I swear when she showed it to me, I think I was stringing a racket. I was on the stringer and I'm stringing, and she was like, hey, look at this picture. And she flashes at me. I turn my head and I go back to the racket, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Bianca Andreescu, what's up? And she was like, no, that's Mirka. And I'm like, huh? Anyway.
I think women look beautiful natural. I mean, the wrinkles are there for, it looks great on guys. We don't bitch about the guys having the wrinkles. Women are.
I got wrinkles?
Women are attracted to the I have them too, baby.
Now you're pointing at my wrinkles. Huh? This is the first I've heard of this. I got wrinkles.
I was watching Indecent.
Okay, baby, let me see what you got.
I got them right
here. You got
here.
some wrinkles in there?
Yeah, and I don't mind them. That's the thing. I don't mind them. See, that's my dad always told me, Carla, you don't wear a lot of makeup because you'll age quicker. And I listen to my dad. So you'll always see me without makeup. There's no fake. My husband sees what he sees in the morning and night is the same.
Which is a sandal coming off the foot.
It doesn't change. I'm just saying, though, I think women are more beautiful natural. When they stop putting all that crap in their face, you're like, who the freak is that? I mean, it's just awful. I was looking at Indecent Proposal. Robert Redford. Great, good-looking dude.
The movie Indecent Proposal?
He had the wrinkles on the side. We find that attractive. Why can't we find it attractive in women? We find women love that in their 20s. They love looking at the older guys because they got these crows on. I don't get it.
Didn't you have a segment to start the show about the Spanish soccer player Gaga or whatever his name was cheating on his wife with his best friend in their own bedroom, and the wife came in and caught it? Isn't this just, an everyday occurrence these days, for men to go
look at the younger girls.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this girl didn't look too young.
Maybe he went the more educated route. Sometimes the Cougars, they get
have
wild.
Character lines.
Look, the Cougars, the Cougar has a lot of experience, and sometimes guys are.
I think women that are older look beautiful because they have the experience, just like the guys.
Well, some guys are willing to go a little bit older, depending on the time frame you are. Like, if you're 60, you're not going to go looking at 70. But if you're 20, you might go looking at 35. Why? Because you got mad experience there. Mm-hmm. So your private time will be probably more high geared and more explorious than you would be to be going younger then. But if you're 60, you're not going to go looking up the 75 tree.
No.
If you're 65 now, you got
unless you're a hot 70-year-old.
Well, when you're 60, you have the experience.
Yeah.
And if you're a good-looking 60-year-old, generally you have the older until it shifts. So when you're a 20-year-old guy, it's okay. 35-year-old woman, boom, she's hot, like Salma Hayek. Like what? But then eventually Salma Hayek gets over the hill, and you're right there with her.
My God.
And then your whole criteria of women changes.
Wow, terrible.
So you follow Salma Hayek up to her generation, and then you drop the generation, and it starts over again.
It's so unfair.
But that's how it works.
It's so unfair.
I should teach a class on this.
Look, my mom, she's a cougar. She's with a younger than me. Just saying. He is younger than me. He's my brother's age.
Hey.
Good for her.
I love this William Spencer. I love this William Spencer comment. He says, amen, right? Ugliest thing going on is tides of young women plastered and more face paints than a clown show. My dad is 82, okay? And my dad was a flight surgeon in the Navy, so he was a doctor in the Navy. But he was assigned to an aircraft carrier, so he would go out on these aircraft carriers for like 6 months. He'd come back home. Now, talking about a guy that would really tell his daughter the way it is, I have a sister, right? Anyway, so my sister would have makeup on, and my dad would be like, "You look like a fucking clown." Beep, 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 beep. So yes, I was raised to believe that that women that wear too much makeup it's a clown show.
I hate the
Carla doesn't wear any.
I hate the ones where they have the filters and then you post it and it's like completely like you have no blemishes in your face. We all have blemishes in our face from the sun, from age, from stress, from anything, from smiling and stuff. I remember going with your mom. They invited us to go to this makeup thing, show you how to, the makeup, blah, blah, blah. I took it off in front of the lady. I said, I can't do this. I said, this is not me. I'm looking at something in a mirror. That's not me. I want to see my face.
Yeah.
I said, I can't imagine doing that shit every morning, covering every blemish you have in your face, going out the door and looking completely different from what you look. I just can't. I can't do it. Sorry.
Put it down a little bit. I didn't know it was so high.
Yeah, it is high.
Good.
Yeah, we're fine. That's good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lori. Whatever makes them feel good. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I see a couple white hairs and I just grab it and pluck it.
I just leave mine.
Just pluck it.
I just leave mine.
But I'm noticing I'm starting to get more. But you can't see them because they're very few.
All right. Something Carla and I wanted to bring up from a coaching perspective is Iga Swiatek, and a lot of you may kind of get lost in this one. I hope not, because if you're an Iga Swiatek fan or you're a tennis fan, sometimes it's good to kind of dissect certain things. So Carla and I were talking about Swiatek the other day, and why is it that no one ever believed us that she would come and win this one and probably not do another one unless it was on clay. And anyway, we talked about this for a couple shows before, but Carla was able to get a close up of her service motion. And I'm going to show you the serve. And I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's something that separates, I think, the best players that are going to be consistent major winners, or at least winning more than the one that she has during a COVID year. But she has a pretty significant flaw in the service motion. So
yeah, Wildlife was the one that pointed to me.
And I'll show you this. So I'll show you the flaw.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know if they'll be able to hear me.
Okay.
So. Is this picture clear?
Go up, Justin. It's like right there.
So it's not horrible here, but her arm, her hitting arm, her right hand, it's totally straight and not locked and loaded. Kind of, think about yourself throwing a baseball here. Okay, now her racket's still coming around, so you could argue that she has not completed her setup, right? But nonetheless, if she has completed her setup and she leaves from this position, she's gonna lose quite a bit of control, quite a bit of spinability. She's going to hit the ball kind of flat here. But it's when you serve the ball, now she could be coming around.
Well, here's Serena.
But you have to think about it. You're never really laying the arm out flat.
Serena's.
Here's a perfect. Yeah, here's locked and loaded, right?
Mm-hmm. Reason why she has one of the best serves.
See it?
Yeah.
Pretty clear?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a spam call.
Nice.
Okay.
It's my secret admirer spam call.
Hey, more for the merrier. Okay, but okay. So it's not a fatal flaw, but in the world of players, Osaka's and emerging players such as Raducanu or Fernandez, if they pan out to anything, And I mean, if they pin us anything. By the way, Michael Walker did make a bet with me, and I did not call it out. I'm calling it out now. I mentioned on the last show that I would take a bet with one person out there with 2-1 odds that Emma Raducanu would not make another Grand Slam final, or Raducanu will never win another Grand Slam final. And I said I would bet up to $100, meaning if I lost, if I won the bet, I take in $200, right? And if I lose the bet, I pay him $100, right? So, or vice versa, rather. So he took the bet. So remember that in case someone forgets. And I don't plan on it, but this is like my notepad. All right. So he took the bet. 2-1 odds. Shit. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the Swiatek serve. When we are going to serve the ball and our arm is totally laid out. In other words, here we're not now. Someone that took the picture may say that she was still coming around, but even if you were, you're not going to want to lay your arm out completely flat. Okay, it's kooky. You're going to lack a lot of things with that. She'll need to correct that, or I think we'll be right. A long time ago, saying that Swiatek's win at that French Open, which came in a lot of time, will be a one and done for her.
There is no one way to serve, but technique-wise, the better your technique is, the more consistent you are, and that's just a fact. It's just a fact.
Or the better the weapon will be.
Yeah,
you are correct. You are correct.
There's people that serve from here. There's people that do the whole thing. There's people that it is all,
Yeah, you can, hence why there's a lot of players that do imitations of other people. We all have all of us have slightly different grip tweak, and all of us have slightly different trigger finger. Everywhere we get that. We totally get that. Everyone is unique, and that's the beautiful thing about tennis. I know some tennis players that don't have pretty games at all. No disrespect, Ryan Mason. His game is not pretty at all, but he beat me badly. It's not. So we understand that, and we do. But if it's going to be a weapon, then it needs to be closer to the bell-shaped curve, and hers are a little outside of that. Not saying she can't win, but I don't have a feeling in a perfectly set year where all the seeds are playing, no COVID, all the fans are there, we're locked and loaded. I don't see Swiatek making another Grand Slam final or winning one, possibly on clay with that. But there's going to be people out serving her throughout matches, and she's going to lose a lot of matches because of it. Mm-hmm. No way around it.
Ferziona says she can't handle flat balls to her forehand, but WTA coaches can't see that. Yeah, because of her big takeback. William Spencer says Iga's serve is iffy, forehand dodgy, especially when she's rushed. She won French on a heavy clay court, which hit her long forehand setup.
Yeah, during COVID, no fans. It was dark, dank, and wet, cold conditions, cool.
No one knew her.
Yeah,
no one knew her game. Yeah. Just like Raducanu, no one knew her game. No one knew Leylah Fernandez's game, but now they will.
Yeah, I can guarantee you. Out of the top, 1,000 women in the world right now, 999 of them are watching every match that
Karatsev. No one knew
Karatsev same way. Except Karatsev never made the final of a major, but came damn close. And then his game got studied, and there it goes. So unfortunately for all these players, they're all examples, but a very small amount of examples. This goes on endless in the game of tennis, long before we were born. Mm-hmm. Right? The ones and dones and so forth. So Swiatek will have to clean that up a little bit. Nick Kyrgios, by the way, and I won't waste a bunch of time on this. Nick Kyrgios, during the Labour Cup or just shortly thereafter. Guys, I didn't even read this whole article, so if you want to leave some comments of exactly the statement, do it. I didn't waste too much time. I was writing and reading. But says, his season's done. He's going to go deal with his knee.
He's been done.
He's going to go deal with his knee, and he's going to deal with some family issues. Number one, much respect. Any tennis player, no matter who you are, much respect to you. Hopefully you've been well, and hopefully your family's well. However, I'm a realist. That's what this show's about, being real. We have said forever that Kyrgios is done. I know I have been on this team for a long time on the show. I like he's entertaining, except when he does gestures that are inappropriate for children to see, namely water bottle gestures. Yes, that's offensive. I've always liked him in a way, but he's always been open about not working out. He's never really had a coach, none really at all for that matter, outside of juniors. Obviously, he learned the game at some point in his life. But you can't take the day in and day out sport of tennis, partying a lot, not working out. The body eventually pays the price. Now his knee is. I think his career is very, very shortly to be sponsor-free. I don't see why Nike outside of, Nike does sponsor some outlandish people. I get it because they sell tickets. But Nike dropped Roger Federer because he still wanted too much, and Uniqlo picked him up, hence the $19 shirts, which I'm glad that happened. But eventually Nike's going to be like, all right, there's no need for me to give you such great deals on all this stuff anymore and pay you all this money because you actually kind of suck now. I don't know how to say it any better or worse than that. Do we waste any time talking more about Nick Kyrgios?
No, Sister Queen says Nick says he's retiring soon, maybe before Federer.
Could be.
Yang House says Nick's knee is far from the only thing he needs to fix.
Okay, I had something else just to bring up real quick. We've talked about being sidetracked. People get married, Raducanu and the stardom, the instant stardom. Will this affect her career? One veteran that we need to bring up for a moment. We've already talked about this as a segment before. However, Simona Halep being married. She got married to a billionaire, part of her kind of patriarchal hearth there in Romania.
Yeah, someone said.
Have we seen the last of her as a super competitive semi-final expected final possible and Grand Slam winner as the athlete she has been throughout her career? Have we seen the last of that?
I don't know.
It's not a sidetrack for her, or it is a sidetrack for her, just like everybody else.
I don't know. I'm not sure about her, but I think the B-Dog sent me a message. She says, Halep 30 marries 42-year-old billionaire. Now she's worth $1.30 billion. Now baby time and retire. Allah Wozniacki style. That's
a great comment. We talked about earlier on the show, guys go for the little bit, or girls go for the little bit older guy, experience and money and blah, blah, blah. He's going to be 72 when she's 60. Is she still tapping?
Why are you asking me this? I thought you said the older guy can go for the younger girl, blah, blah, blah.
That's a good point. But at 72.
What?
She's going to still be a little fresh, 60.
Man, at that point, you want to spend time with each other. It's not about that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Willis.
William Spencer said, watching Swiatek versus a card match on a hard court. Why are you looking at me? I don't know, Willis. Why are you looking at me? Watching Swiatek versus Sakari match on a hard court. Two players with clay court forehands playing clay court style tennis with 10 feet net clearance. A sad sign of times, both coaching and surface wise.
Yeah. It's great stuff. Why are you tripping out?
Because he's still thinking about the 70-year. Is he going to be tapping?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a relevant question. Oprah talks about it all the time. I mean, we can do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have...
Relish Fire said, what's up with Raducanu dropping the coach just after her success? Disrespectful and dangerous.
Yes, but this is... we never talked about that. We heard about this. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. The comment Ellis Fire says is, what's up with Raducanu dropping the coach just after her success? Disrespectful and dangerous. However, Carl and I are coaches. After we read this the other day...
I agree with her.
Yes, we both agree with her. Why? Carla and I have coached for 22 years, and we have I've coached. She's been with me for 11. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we have a very good following, and we're comfortable of taking kids up to the D1 level. We've taken many, and we're proud of that. However, anything beyond that, it's a little bit more than we have had experience with. You understand what I'm saying? We know nothing about it. We have never coached someone on the pro tour. We don't have any experience with how tournaments are run in Spain and all over the world. We have experience with USTA stuff and the UTR stuff and ITF stuff and coaching stuff. But when it becomes international at that point, sometimes you need someone a little bit more.
You need someone
a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah, I agree with her.
So it's. I get it.
She should have given him a chance.
She paid him, I can promise you. She paid him.
Maybe give him a chance, see how she does in the tournament.
Or keep him apart. Keep him as a family friend.
But they just put him together. They just put him together. So they weren't together long. It's not like it was from long-time coach.
Honestly, probably a smart decision, from a coaching standpoint. Because, again, if I have a really dynamic 17 or 18-year-old, and I'm just being humble in a way. Mm-hmm. If I have a dynamic 10 or 11, 12-year-old player and they get really good and they just have a whole smoking lot of potential, I'm going to say I would love to continue to coach you, but I have many coaches that can coach that level, Rolando and Troy. I would put you with someone that I know I can respect that has coached people at the pro level. Yeah. And we have those outlets, but I would humbly say you're too good for me to guide you internationally. So I think it was probably... If
I can whoop your ass 6-0, then no. But if you can whoop my ass 6-0, then you should be with somebody else.
Yeah.
And there is yet anybody except my son, Christopher, who could beat me 6-0. So just saying, there's none of our students that could whoop us 6-0. I think with a left leg, we can whoop them 6-0.
Some of them get close. But, no, could be close with a left leg.
Yeah, with a left leg.
With a left leg. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, some big news, by the way, you know our name, 5K Tennis, is because we have 5 children, right? And we just messed with the logo over the years and whatever. Our 4th in line, so our, not our oldest, second oldest, our next to youngest child, our 4th in line out of 5, who is 9, Gabriella. We named her after Gabriella Sabatini, right? And we bought her the original Gabriella Sabatini book that Gabriella Sabatini wrote. Anyway, she has her first tennis tournament ever in December. So I remember Jonathan's first tournament. I remember Christopher's first tournament.
Christopher won his first tournament.
Yeah, Jonathan did well in his first tournament. I think a semifinal. I think Jonathan made a final. Christopher won his first tournament with relative ease. Liliana made a semifinal in her first tournament, but
it was red ball. She wasn't used to it.
Oh yeah, it was red ball.
She's like, "What is this?"
But we don't raise our kids.
She's like, "What is this, Mom?"
Yeah, and then we never use. We're not USTA. We're USTA members, lifetime members. We carry the cards and so forth, but we're not a USTA facility. We're part of a country club, so it's not like a USTA facility. So I don't have to do the 10 and under tennis stuff, and I wouldn't do it anyway because 10 and under tennis is just absolutely a waste of time. It takes time away from training the right way, in my opinion, meaning the red foamy balls and stuff. Our 5-year-old hits balls from the baseline right now. I've done a video about it if you think I'm lying. There's a lot of them, actually.
Well, he's
hitting one-handed backhands from the baseline with regular balls.
We have a couple of little kids who just started with us, too, and they're hitting the ball over.
Yeah, with regular balls.
Half his size.
But yeah, Gabriella has her first tournament, so that will be on like December 4th or December 9th.
December 4th.
And then our 5-year-old, by the way, Justin Jr., he's my junior. I think he could already play 10 and unders at 5, but his serve is lacking. He can tap it in, and then I think he can already compete with the 10-year-olds around here, honestly.
Your son, 9 years, has played 136 matches.
Good.
That's excellent. Be careful with that, listener.
Yeah,
that's a lot of tennis. That's too
tennis.
much. And I'm telling you, I would tell anybody, that's too much. You're gonna burn them out. Don't do that.
Just be careful with it.
Does he have a winning record?
Or does he enjoy it?
But if I'm a coach, right, and I'm gonna recruit you, because obviously he's playing for something bigger. Right? He's not just playing to play. If you play 136 matches, you're playing.
He says he's only playing green ball tournaments. See, we don't play those.
Okay, but what I'm saying is his winning record better than the losing record? Because as a coach, that's what I'm looking at as a student. Well, is your winning record much higher than your losing record?
Well, he'll have a UTR rating that'll give you that statistic. So that's the whole point of the UTR rating. Mostly now in the U.S. in terms of like D1 schools recruiting. They're not looking at your USTA ranking anymore. They're looking at your UTR, your Universal Tennis Rating, which is a decimal. Like our oldest son, Chris, is like a 7 something, right? He's a solid player. Some of our students here are like 4s, and Carla and I would blow them off the court. It just gives you a good idea of where they are as a player, right? So the wins and losses are important, but the losses are acceptable. But if they need to be a player that's better than you, that has a higher UTR than you. So if you're losing to players with a higher UTR, then that's okay. Yeah. It won't hurt you as bad, but you don't want to be losing to people with a lower UTR because then you're really stuck with an average that's really hard to pull up.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of that. 136 matches for a 9-year-old.
That reminds me of the kid we know.
Look, I probably played that many. My sister probably played double that. She didn't start until she was 11. I started at 2. My sister,
but when I played, I won. If I played, I won.
I get it.
I hate saying that.
We were the same way. However.
Okay. You only played 29 matches this year. Okay. That's a good number.
Yeah, that's a much better number. However, the key item to look for is, are they having fun?
Yeah.
Are they intense about it? Are they having a good time? Are they fired out about it? And I don't mean they have to be smiling. With the boys, I want them to see a look in their eye that they're trying. Like, come on, let's go. Look, not hot-headed, but really trying to study that damn ball. And how can I beat your ass with this damn racket hitting that damn ball? And that's what I'm looking for in the boys. And the girls, I'm trying to look for more fluidity, enjoyment, movement. Are they swinging freely? And the boys, I'm just trying to really push really freaking hard, get in their face and make sure I make them a competitor, right? The girls, I'm trying to make them free, hit well, more ballet kind of involved, and really start trying to be loose and free. Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, last couple of things I have. I read an article about this morning. Quote, being good in mathematics is conducive to being more successful in tennis. I'll repeat that. Being good in mathematics is conducive to being more successful in tennis. heard this my entire life. I couldn't agree more.
Well, look at Chris. He's very good at mathematics.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Straight A. I mean, he's at the highest math level you can think of. And he was explaining to his sister, his 12-year-old sister, the different angles. I was listening to them. They were hitting the ball. And he's like, you don't want to hit here because then this person's going to come back with this angle. You want to hit here so you can create this angle. And I was listening to him. I said, geez, I wish I would have thought about the tennis court the way he did. I probably would have been a much, much better player.
Well, you were a ball striker, not a defender. Defensive players play that way. That's just how he's wired.
Yeah, but he moves is the way he moves you. He knows that if he moves you here, he can do this or this, you know? And I think math helps with that. Angles, physics. He's got it straight up physics.
You hit through the court.
I hit through
the court. You hit through the court. You hit missiles, not a lot of spin, really flat. You can hit spin when you want to, but most of the time, just your normal game is missiles. But most of the time when I play, it's more power off and more spot hitting. So Chris will strategically beat you off the court.
Yeah, but he beat me off the court the other day. He beat me like 6-2. I was so mad.
But when you're on, you will strategically blow him off the court. Do you see what I'm saying? Or more hit the ball through the court. Anyway, how about in life though? We go to college and we have to take an ACT or an SAT or something commensurate with that. Something the equivalent thereof, right? The ACT has become so competitive. So our oldest son is at the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and he had to have an ACT minimum of 29. He got that. I think he just nailed the 29. Our son Christopher applying now, and I think his super score was like a 30, I think. Anyway, long story short, if we don't know math, we can't make that score on that damn ACT. Now, I don't want to get into a rant about standardized testing. Standardized testing is shit on a stick, shit on a slab, a whole bunch of bullshit. Why do I say that? Some people have test-taking anxiety. Some people don't remember stuff as well as others when it's like reading. Like on this test, you have to read. You read a lot of stuff, and you have to immediately answer a section of questions. And if you don't answer all the questions, oh, shit, you can go back and read, but you have a time limit on the test, and you may not finish everything. So you have to logically figure out whether or not you want to go back and read again or if you want to move forward. And then because of that, you have to sit there and realize that you have blank questions, and you better go back. At least the test-taking anxieties. Just because someone is more susceptible to test-taking anxieties does not mean that they're a dumber person and do not deserve the placement and your school, Ivy League school, academy, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, it happens. Being good in math is not just a focal point for being good at tennis. It's a good focal point for being good in life. Now, a lot of people say, well, damn, I'm never going to use this shit. What am I going to do this damn algebra? Stupid calculus, physics sucks, geology, algebra 1, trigonometry. Who needs it? That's a question we all ask ourselves, right? Why do we have to do it knowing that one day you're going to be able to use a calculator? Because it weeds out the strong from the weak, okay? If I'm a D1 university, I don't care who the hell you are. I don't want to give some idiot a diploma from my university that's been around for 200 years and carries the most prestigious name on the planet. I don't want to give some bozo this certificate. I want it hard for them to get here because I don't want to deal with having to kick them out of school for getting all fucked up all the time. So they create the ACT. They put mathematics throughout school because mathematics, when people fail it in high school, guess what? They end up dropping out and they're not in the thick of it. So mathematics on paper is the way to divide out the strong from the weak. So I tell my kids, you don't bring home an A in math, you're weak. And if you're weak, you don't have no freedoms. Nothing. Hate it when I see stupid kids.
This rain is killing you. I know. I get it.
Study, bust your ass, work hard, because if you don't, guess what? Someone else will.
Calm down.
Nothing but success. Let's go. 24/7. That's the 5K way. Put in work. Talk later. Let's go. By the way, speaking about putting in work, everybody knows I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. Everybody knows that. So B-Doggo too. Even though I don't like Garoppolo a lot, we can do better than that. We got to back up, we should be all right with. Anyway, we talk about heart and fight a lot on this show. Oh, come on, put in work. Let's go, okay? There was one of my favorite players of all time. His name was Ronnie Lott. He was number 42. He was a safety. He was in a Super Bowl, and it could have been the NFC Championship. Someone correct my math on that. Anyway, he broke his finger. I had the same injury playing youth football. I played quarterback as youth. That's why I have a good serve, because throwing that football really helped that out, right? And they helped one another out. They reciprocated. Anyway, but he got his finger stuck in someone's helmet and it broke his finger. And I had the same injury happen to my pinky finger. Helmet happened. It's gnarly. So he had to come out of the game. Well, he said, I want to go back in the game. I don't want to come out of the game. I want to play. And he had to face a choice. The orthopedic said, the only way you can go back in the game is if I amputate this finger. It's a compound fracture. There's bones. It's gnarly. You have to have surgery. Amputate the finger. He amputated the finger, sewed it back up, took some painkillers, and was back on the field to finish the game. That's hard, okay? I'm not saying you're expected to cut your finger off when you come here and have a 5K tennis day, but I'm saying we want to be positive and we want to work hard, and we want to stay positive, we want to work hard, and we want to stay positive, and we want to work hard. I'm not asking you to cut your finger off, but I'm asking you to come out and put in work, and we will see Ronnie Lott type success. Period.
Yin said, I really got an A in math, so I must be weak then. How can I get stronger, Justin?
It's okay. I don't know. Read the book.
As far as push-ups.
There you go. That's a good answer.
I wasn't strong in math either, so I go downstairs and I lift dumbbells and I squat to make up for it. So I'm a jock.
But Yin Hao Kor, Yin Hao Kor is highly intelligent.
I'm a jock. I'm a jock.
You chat with B Doggo too a lot. I chat with Yin Hao. I feel Yin's energy. Like we enjoy the same thing. So. But you're obviously not weak because you're very mentally intact. Maybe you weren't dinosaurs. Maybe you weren't good in mathematics, but you were probably very good at something else. What I'm getting at is when it comes to standardized testing, that's a big part of the standardized test. So if you don't execute that section well, it's very unlikely you will get into a university. So I'm not sure, if you went through a university or whatever, or that type of scenario. But nonetheless, if you go through a university here in the United States, either A, you have very deep pockets, and the ACT score is relatively minimal, but you still have to have a minimum one to get in, no matter how much money you have. We know some people like the lady from, what was the show? Family Ties. What was the show? Full House. And she went to jail for paying USC for a fake scholarship for rowing when the kid didn't even go. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I remember, yes.
Anyway, but yeah, you have to, if you're just your typical middle-class American that can't afford to go to college, looking for a little help, a little scholarship, you cannot afford to jack off that damn math section of your ACT or SAT because you'll be screwed.
He said I did somehow make it to university, though. Well, you must have been good in English. You must have been good at something.
Like very good at something, right?
Yeah.
Computers, computer science, law, medicine, whatever. But here in the U.S., to go to university and you bomb the math section of your ACT,
hey, I remember in the 80s, 90s, Japanese were committing suicide to Japanese students because they weren't getting into college, with the straight A's. They weren't, even if you had straight A's, you couldn't get in. The best of the best. So Can you imagine?
All right, last thing I got and we're done. And this is a quick one. On the last show, I jokingly said, you can go back and watch it. Last show, I jokingly said something like, ha, 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 Emma Raducanu just won the U.S. Open. Next thing you know, London's going to rip out Murray Mountain and rename it or create a Raducanu Ridge. And I just made up the word Raducanu Ridge on the fly. Yeah, I mentioned it on the last show. I read an article that they are making a Raducanu Ridge. They must watch it. Carl, do you think they watch that show? They watched our show?
They must be desperate.
Well, it wasn't that hard to think off the fly, Raducanu Ridge, because you think Henman Hill, HH, Murray Mountain, MN, and Raducanu Ridge. R is the only word I could come up with that would associate itself with geologic formations or mountains or hills. Can anyone come up with a roundabout, a rut? You wouldn't want to put Raducanu Rut. She's not in a rut, she's up. So can you think of another R that can replace Ridge that's catchy like Henman Hill or Murray Mountain?
River? No.
Raducanu River? No, that wouldn't work. Raducanu Rastafarian? No. Raducanu Radical? No, because that's not geological, and Rastafarian is a culture and or more like a religious thing. Raducanu Ridge, that's all you got. And that's why I came up with it on the fly. Let's go, come on. That's all I got.
All right, well, we're done.
Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I mean, why not? Just why?
Can't wait to watch the Indian Wells.
Hit the button.
Yeah. Road. Ha ha ha.
Oh, Raducanu Road. There you go.
Smart.
That's pretty good.
He's smart.
Pretty good. He did well on the ACT. Good job. I like that one. And when she starts sucking and she doesn't win another major, they're gonna tear that out and put Raducanu Rut. There's gonna be the remaining pothole, right?
Name it right after her upcoming form.
Yes, who said this?
Something special.
I get it. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Again, welcome Team Diadem. Diadem Tennis, Diadem Sports. They do pickleball as well. To the 5K family. White Tech Strings, as always, much love to you, Ivor. Much love to you, Adam, at Diadem Sports. Again, we'll be having both White Tech String reels, apparel, 5K tennis apparel, 5K tennis merchandise. We're going to have Diadem rackets. We're going to have $350 cash. And all of that is yours. You don't have to pay $2.99 or be some member or some bullshit. Just hit the sub button.
That was a crazy video, by the way, that you made. I laughed.
Let's go.
That was a funny video.
It's just real.
Raducanu who? Andres who? Who?
Go. All right, guys. Peace out.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.